from the Podnutz Daily for October 27, 2008, episode number 105. Let me just make sure I'm recording this. Okay, we're good. Okay, let's get started. I had a computer come in, and let's see, it was a desktop, eMachines. It was running a Celeron, probably like 3 or 4 years old. And the customer was mainly concerned with getting their data off of the computer. So the first thing I do, if the computer won't start, in fact, the computer didn't start at all. You hit the power button and you get nothing. So the first thing I do is I pull the hard drive out and I try to immediately get the data off of the computer that they want to get. So if they wanted to get their pictures, I just immediately go in and get the pictures. I do that with a USB, an IDE to USB cable or a SATA to USB cable. I plug it into my system and I copy the data over. Once I have that data, okay, then I can take a breath at least and find out what's going on with the system. Well, this particular system, once we copied over the data, it was in my documents folder. After that, the hard drive started to get real flaky, so I think we got it just in time. We didn't run CTools, but I suspect the hard drive's bad. I'll just run CTools on it, but if not the physical hard drive's bad, at least the file table's all messed up because it's giving our computers a tough time to even read the disk. But it was able to copy off the stuff into my documents folder, so that was good. If we would have waited, maybe we wouldn't have got the data. We'll see. But that was the first thing we did. The second thing is now we tried to diagnose what was wrong with the desktop, and it wouldn't power on at all. So we tested the power supply, and power supply was bad. Power supply was bad according to our power supply tester. So okay, now we knew we needed a power supply. Then we suspected the motherboard was also bad. I think there was a red LED lighting up on the motherboard, and once we hooked up a good power supply to the motherboard, it came on with just the fans spinning. The fans were just spinning and blaring and full speed, no indication of video, no indication of the BIOS, nothing. So in that case, when you plug into power and the fans just start spinning on high speed and the motherboard seems like it's just kind of out of control with no video, it's a bad motherboard in my experience. So we had to replace the motherboard. So we went out. We got a hard drive, we got a power supply, we got a motherboard. Put it all on the machine, hooked it all up nice and neat, figured, okay, these are the 3 components that were bad. No problem, it's got to work now. Hooked everything up, we hit the power button on the machine, nothing. Not even a fan spinning, not even anything. Computer seemed completely dead. So we tested the power supply again. The power supply we bought was a good power supply. You know, we replaced the RAM, we put a new processor in the machine, we even suspected the power button itself was bad. So it could happen where the actual mechanical power button gets like pressed in too far or breaks or something. So we just went straight to the motherboard and shorted out the 2 leads on the motherboard, which are actually the power button on the front panel jumper things there, the front panel jumpers. Just short out the 2 leads for the power switch, and that's like hitting the switch. We did that, still nothing. Then we figured it was a motherboard DOA. And we bought it at the local computer shop down the street. So we took it back there. We said, this is DOA. We want another one. He's like, I rarely have DOA motherboards. He's like, let me test it out. He tested it out at his shop. The thing worked perfectly. Fired right up. So what was the problem? Okay, well, we took it back in. After it worked fine at his shop, we took it back in and we started examining things. Why is this motherboard not starting up? And here's what it was. On the case, the front USB port was smashed in, and the leads inside the USB port itself were shorting out each other and also, pressing up against the sides of the USB jack itself, which was creating a dead short. Just that in itself was causing the motherboard not to start. It might have had something to do with the other motherboard getting affected as well. But the other motherboard was still bad. It had some fried components on it. We saw some other problems with it, but something happened to this machine. I don't know if pushing that USB port in and messing that up could cause a chain reaction to cause all the other problems to occur. It's possible, but it seems more like a power surge that caused that problem. But always check your USB ports on these machines when something's acting funny like that. All we did at that point was, because it was unrepairable, the USB port. It was on like one of those custom eMachine jacks that are on the front of the machine next to all the card slots on a desktop, so we couldn't replace that. On the motherboard, you still had 4 or 5 good working ones on the back panel, so that should be fine. And all we did was we didn't hook up the USB port to the motherboard. We just let it kind of hang in the case there. And when we did that, thing worked fine. So it was a bad USB port. It was causing the computer not to even start on. boot up at all. Not too much other exciting stuff. Just did a data transfer from a laptop drive to a desktop today. A couple other things I want to mention. My eyes, from working on computers all day long, I don't know if this happens to you guys, my eyes start to get really irritated because when you're working on computers and you're looking at a computer screen all day long, you don't have a tendency to blink as much as you would normally blink, and that your eyes get real dry, and then they get irritated, and I started getting you start to get headaches after this, like this what's the word I'm looking for? Like a droning headache, like just going on and on. And one of our customers came in who was actually an eye doctor. So me and my dad started plugging him with all these questions, like, what can we do for our eyes? What's good? And he recommended just buying lubricating drops and using lubricating drops. And he also recommended one called Cystane Ultra, which is why I bought 2 bottles of it. It's not cheap. It's like $10 for a little tiny bottle, but it probably lasts a couple months. And it lubricates your eyes. So if you know you're going to be working on a computer screen or a computer and looking at the screen, your eyes start to get irritated, don't let it get to a point where your eyes start to deteriorate. You don't want that to happen. These lubricating drops have made a lot of difference. I don't plan on being on them forever, but I'm going to use them if I know I'm going to be using working on a computer for prolonged periods of time. If anybody has any other remedies for eye strain, let me know. One thing I did do with my monitor, I bought a 24-inch HP monitor, which I absolutely love. It's a W2408 HP monitor. It's got the glossy coating on it. And ever since I started using that, I felt my eyes were getting strained. And it was coincident with the time I bought that monitor. Well, the reason I liked the monitor was the colors are so vibrant and bright that I thought it was a really nice monitor. So I took it home and I kept all the settings really, really high. And just that brightness, it started affecting my eyes. It was like staring into a light bulb or looking at the sun, It's like really too bright. It started causing my eyes problems. I have the brightness down on this thing to like 25%, and it still looks really good. I read also, I did that because I think you want to have not a real high contrast between the screen and the background of your room. If you have a real bright room, it might be okay to have a bright screen. But if you have a really dim room, a bright screen's not good. You don't want to have that contrast. So I lowered the brightness on my monitor so it matches more the lighting in the back of the monitor. So it seems to even out things. It seemed to work pretty good. I was putzing around the other day. It was really slow at the shop. So every time it's slow at the shop, sometimes I'll jump on Craigslist and see if I can find a good deal, like a laptop to fix or somebody who's selling something really cheap and it's not a scam, and to take it into the shop and resell it. I love buying broken laptops on Craigslist because people just